danger, all my focus, pushing off the limits. In this moment, I feel your spirit moving all around me. Come and have your way. I'm looking at the dry bones. You're reviving this faith inside of my soul. You're igniting. You're calling me to levels that are higher. Let me see your face. And I set my eyes on you. Everything else fades when I look your way. Everything else fades when I look your way. Everything else fades. We gaze upon your beauty, full of wonder, the world falling behind me. There's no other name in your name. There is nothing that can take your place. When I set my eyes on you, everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. Dancing in the light of your glory, joy is awakening, rising like the sun every morning. Hope is alive in me. Yeah, we're dancing like the light of your glory. Joy is awakening and rising like the sun every morning. Hope is alive in me. When I set my eyes on you. When I set my eyes on you. When I set my eyes on you. Everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. When I look your way, everything else fades. And you are with me. What can separate us? And you are for me. What can stand against us? Your love, it won't let go. I know it won't. And darkness and shadows have no power over me. Faith is empty. Shame has no authority. Your love, it I know you hold my future and my hope. Your promises never fail. Your promises never fail. Your promises never fail. Your promises never fail.
I went to the movie theater last week with some friends, and I have to say, it was a dream. Like, it had been almost 2 years since I had been to a theater. Thank you, COVID. Guys, I'd forgotten how magical it could be. Like, you're watching this movie, it's so immersive. You're so into it, it's so loud. I cannot get over how loud it was. I know it makes me sound old, but still, all of it was like my first time there. It was incredible. I don't know if you guys have been there yet, but you should, because, well, I love movies. I don't know anyone who doesn't like movies. If you don't, we'll move on. I don't really know. But movies, TV shows, and what makes movies and TV shows so good, obviously, are the characters. It's always the people involved. Like some of the best stories told, like time and time again, are those master and apprentice type stories. You know the ones I'm talking about? Where there's like a master type character who trains this young apprentice and they come together for the fate of the universe. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they're always classic. Like, we're talking about Yoda and Luke Skywalker. It's still iconic. People know who that is still because they're this incredible combo of characters. And when they team up like that, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good storyline, hopefully. But, okay, I'm curious, I don't know from you guys. There are a ton of these storylines where there's a master, there's an apprentice, whether it's in movies or a TV show. But I wanna know, you guys are actually gonna vote for this. Which duo would take the top spot? Like, which one would you vote for to take the top? So, pull out your phones. Actually do this. If you don't, it's going to be super lame. Grab your phones. Head to this. They're going to show on the screen. Okay, head there. It's anonymous. You don't have to, create an account or put your name and nothing like that. But you can scan the QR code or go to that website. And what's going to happen is I'm going to give you, there's going to be 3 rounds, okay? Where you're going to vote between 2 sets of people. 2, master and apprentice combos, and you have to vote which is the better team, okay? Hopefully you know. Some of them I tried to include a wide variety. But yes, if you're watching online, you can do this as well, okay? So hopefully you guys are there. I'm going to assume so I can't see you. Okay, first one. Michael Scott and Dwight Schrute from The Office. Oh, yes! This makes me so proud. Versus Glenn and Amy from Superstore. Which one? Obviously, Michael is not only a manager, but he's also very much the mentor and master to Dwight, and Glenn is as well. Okay, guys, you answered correctly. There's no wrong answer, but in this case, I'd argue there is. Okay, let's go to the next one before that Glenn and Amy number grows. Okay, next one we have, the Mandalorian, clearly the master, and Baby Yoda, the apprentice, or Yoda, who, oh wait, did I get those mixed up? Yeah, or Yoda, who is the master in this case, and Luke Skywalker. Okay. I want to give it a second. This is growing. I mean, Yoda is good at both. Let's be serious. Okay, no, it's clear. The number's going down. Yoda and Luke Skywalker. Okay, third one we have. Third is from Guardians of the Galaxy. Rocket Raccoon is the master to Baby Groot, and Mufasa. Oh, this is close, guys. Keep going. What does Mufasa always say? He's like, remember who you are? It's a classic line. Oh my word. Okay. Oh, how long do we keep this going for? Okay, I'm gonna do it for 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, Mufasa and Simba. Okay. Sure, you can clap. You can clap. That's fine. There, yes, sure, yes. When in doubt, it's Lion King. Okay, if I had to choose one, only one, it would have to be Dwight and Michael. They are a genius disaster, those two. I love them. I mean, you might disagree if you were in the 7%. But there's so many great combos of characters. There could have been more than that. But think of your own life for a second. Everyone in here is pretty young, I'm going to assume. Do you have a relationship in your life where you are the apprentice? You have someone that you look up to or rely on or just go to for guidance in life. And I'm not talking about God here, okay? I know that we're in church, but I'm not trying to over-spiritualize this question. But instead, I want to get you thinking, what are some of those current relationships in your life right now? Like maybe you have that like mentor type relationship in your life. So we've been in a series this month called Pain and Gain, where we want to explore some of those areas that require action on our part. Like we all have those areas of our life where we want to grow in, or you want to get unstuck. And it's those areas of our lives that, unless you take action, you will suffer in some form or another. Like our personal lives, our work lives, our relationships and finances, our faith, all of it. It will suffer unless we choose to take action or move forward or learn from our mistakes and grow. But then there is this one piece of the puzzle that I think very, very few of us either understand or just take seriously, myself included. I did not understand the weight of this puzzle piece until I was forced to. And it's this concept of mentorship. Okay, now if this term mentorship makes you want to like doze off or roll your eyes, I kind of get it. Because the term mentorship to me, it always just meant pyramid scheme. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if that's fair or accurate whatsoever, but like finding a mentor, just to me, it sounded sketchy. I don't know why. Or just on a good day, it did sound like a nice hypothetical scenario that might fall across your lap one day, where like a wise older person came to me and said, this is the way you should go. I don't know why. Or just my parents could be a mentor, I guess. But whether it is a mentor or a life coach, if you want to call it that, whatever it is, it was just something that I personally had never pursued. Maybe you are not like me. Maybe you're like, no, I love this concept of mentorship, and I have a mentor, or I want a mentor. Like maybe you have a Michael to your Dwight, you know? You have a Yoda to your Luke Skywalker. But before you like run out and ask someone to go sign on the dotted line and commit to becoming your life coach, I want to debunk mentorship a bit, because regardless of how you feel about it, if it's positive, if it's negative, there is at least this one part that we can't deny. And it's the fact that the biggest influence in our lives will always be our relationships. Always. Like you and I, we are very deeply impacted by the people that we let into our lives. Like no matter what type of relationships you currently have or you hope to have one day, it is the people in our lives that will play a huge role in terms of our growth, in terms of who we become. Here's the problem with that. No one wants to admit to this. Like none of us want to believe that we are that heavily influenced by the people around us. Because we really truly want to believe that, okay, our lives are up to us. We're adults now. We choose what we want to do, how we're going to live. And we believe that we are capable of growing and having an independent thought different from someone else. And that's not a bad thing. But if we're being honest, I think our preference is to be very self-sufficient, to be self-reliant, or just to be an independent person. Because, well, culture screams that at us for the first thing. Culture tells us, like, be your own boss. Because we celebrate that. Self-sufficiency, it's seen as courageous. Being independent is seen as bold. It is the smart way to live. But you know what's interesting? If you look at the Bible, whether you believe in the Bible or not, it's interesting that it actually says, like over and over and over, that a life of self-sufficiency makes you weaker. It's unwise. Living that independent life, it's not the courageous choice. In Ecclesiastes 4, it says this: "Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Likewise, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three is even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken." Yeah, that doesn't come naturally to us. Because as much as we like our friends, I'm assuming and hoping that you like some of the people you came with here tonight. For a lot of us, maybe not all, but for a lot of us, we want to be all that we need. It's more straightforward, like we don't have to rely on anyone but ourselves. And that it's less vulnerable, it's easier to just figure it out on your own. In Proverbs, it says this: "Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many advisors bring success." Yeah, like when I read that verse, I'm like, yes, you should get advice. That's good. Go do that. But then coming to terms with the fact, like for you and me, that we need people more than we need our independence. Yeah, it's just not something that we want to give up easily, if we're being honest with ourselves. Because here's the thing. Until you and I realize that self-sufficiency and relying on ourselves will hurt us more than help us, we're going to suffer a lot more in the meantime. There's this really smart guy. He's an author. I think he's a pastor too. His name is Paul David Tripp, and he explains this quite bluntly, and I like it. He says, "When you deny your need for God and others, you're asking for a hard life. Bad things happen when we attempt to live in a way that we were not created to live." Essentially saying, okay, no one's meant to be an island. Like when we keep people at a distance, not allowing ourselves to like live and trust and fail with other people, we're going to suffer. We will struggle that much more. And then this idea of mentorship, it goes one step further, because seeking advice of those who have gone before you, who have fought their own way through their blood, sweat, and tears to get to a place that you hope to get to one day, learning from those people can dramatically impact your life, your growth, where you end up one day. Again, in Proverbs 11, it says, "Without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chances." When there is that lack of trustworthy relationships in our life, we're going to feel it. There's more room for error, of getting stuck and staying there. Okay, I want you guys to take a second and just imagine something with me, okay? Don't worry, I'm not going to make you like close your eyes and hum and you just sit, nothing like that. But okay, first, think of a goal that you want to achieve, something that you hope to accomplish in the very near future, okay? This can be something very practical or as out there as you want. Whether it's like finally creating a budget or opening a savings account or finding the future love of your life, or what else? Let's see, actually reading the Bible for 10 minutes a day like you say you're going to. Whatever it is, what is that goal? Or maybe there's an area of your life that you're struggling with and you're like, okay, I'm finally going to address it. I'm finally going to face it. What is that next goal that you want to achieve or address? Okay, keep that in mind. Keep that in your head. Okay, now here's what I need you to imagine this with me, okay? Imagine a river. Okay, it's a nice river. It's a blue river. It's not brown like the North Saskatchewan. It's a nice blue river. I actually thought of having like an audio clip of like running water, but I'm like, that will make them pee. So we'll skip that part. But can you imagine that you're on one side of the river, okay? You're on the banks of the river. And the goal that you want to achieve is on the other side of the river. It's on the banks of the other side. And you have to somehow get across in order to achieve that goal. When it comes to crossing the river, to achieving that goal, or just getting to where you want to get, our natural instincts, it might be one of two things here. First, okay, some of us, we might just wait on the side of the river. We might just pace, like back and forth. Either we're afraid or we're just unsure of how to start or what to do or how to get to the other side. So we just kind of stay here. Maybe you feel stuck. Or second, some of you, your first instinct might just be like, okay, just walk in. Just jump in. Start making your way across the river and just give it a shot. Hope with your good intentions get you to where you want to go and just keep you from drowning or falling down, whatever it is. Okay, now, if you're anything like me, I start and fail at goals all the time. But what I've had to force myself to see over the past few years is that there is a third option if I'm willing to actually see it. So instead of just like pacing back and forth constantly or just blindly going right in, a wise person would step back and maybe look for those rocks in the river ahead of them that can act like stepping stones, that can help you get across. Those people who are ahead of you, who have learned a thing or two and can throw you a lifeline. They can lend support when you start drowning or just help put you back on course. I know this example is quite literal, so I hope you're still with me. But when you and I might ask the very simple question of, okay, how do I get from one side of the river to the next, from point A to point B in order to achieve this next thing I want to do? The wise person instead would ask, okay, who's gone before me? What did they do? What can I learn from them? What mistakes did they make that I can learn from? Or once you do face that setback or that failure, which you will, the wise person again would put their pride and their excuses aside and be willing to reach out to someone or look around and be like, okay, who do I respect or admire? What would they do? Who is in a place that I would like to be in one day? What can I learn from them? How did they get there? Because again, like honestly, learning from someone who has gone before you and gained that knowledge and experience, it's not a cop-out. That is not a weakness. It actually propels you forward, like it makes you wiser. And it causes a lot less harm or pain than just figuring it out on your own. In Proverbs 13, it says this: walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. Whatever that goal is, if it is a huge goal that you want, if it is a small, very practical goal, whatever it is, you need other people to get there. You do. Because if there is one thing, just one thing, that you and I need to ingrain into our brains tonight, it's that the quality of our lives is directly impacted by the quality of our relationships. I would even say that if you follow Jesus, then the quality of your faith is directly impacted by the quality of your relationships. Because like you and I are responsible for our lives, only us. No one is going to come and do it for you. Growth and moving forward, yeah, that's a choice. And one of the best ways to grow, to live that like worthwhile life that most people want to live, invite people into that you can learn from, and then that you can grow with. There's incredible power to be found in community. That's why it's one of our core values of the project. We are always looking for ways to cultivate that life-changing community for you guys. It's a huge reason why we exist. There was a time in my life where I was just feeling stuck, and I couldn't seem to snap myself out of it. And by now I was feeling discouraged, and I was like, oh, this is getting to be a lot. So I finally came to the conclusion that I couldn't get myself out of this rut. And I've been talking to my best friend about it for a while, and she said too, she's like, maybe it's time to talk to someone who's just smarter than we are. And so I went to a counselor that I know, and I know her and trust her, and she's super wise. And when I went to see her, she challenged me, and she's like, "Hey, why did it take you so long to come and reach out?" And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't really have an answer." And she said, "Okay, well, the next time that these thoughts start popping up or this problem resurfaces, don't wait. Just come talk to me about it." And then she's like, "If you're willing," she's like, "maybe this problem only needs to be a pothole in the road that we deal with and we move on, rather than it becoming this deep hole that you now have to fight so hard to climb your way out of." And then she's like, "But it can only be a pothole if you're willing to reach out and talk about it so we can deal with it." And I was like, man, that stuck with me ever since. Because I realized it was my desire for independence and just proving myself that I could do it that was hurting me a lot more than helping me. Like, believing I could just do it on my own and get myself out of this rut, it just kept me stuck there. In Proverbs 15, it says, "If you listen to constructive criticism, you will be at home among the wise. If you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. But if you listen to correction, you grow in understanding." The quality of your life and of my life dramatically increases when we have quality relationships, when we invite people into our mess. That doesn't make you weaker. It makes you a lot smarter. Now, obviously, a very big piece to this is how. You can't just go buy quality relationships or just snap your finger and hope it just comes to you. But I find it can often be in situations like this where we understand the situation, we understand the problem, but it's very easy just to let the excuses roll in or just feel defeated. Maybe you have legitimate reasons right now as to why you don't have someone that you can trust. You don't have people in your corner. Maybe you look around and you don't see someone who could mentor you. This is where I kind of want to debunk mentorship a little bit more, because I would argue that you should not have just one person who acts like your mentor for all areas of your life. As much as we may respect or admire someone, they aren't God. And we should not take their advice more seriously than we would the Bible, or spending time in prayer with God if you are a Christian. Like, whether you currently have that someone that you look up to and respect, or you want that person in your life, just be careful. Don't put them on a pedestal. Because at some point, they might fail you. You might disagree, or maybe they don't give you the best piece of advice. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It just makes them human. That's part of being in relationship with someone. So surrounding yourself with mentors, that can simply mean just surround yourself with a team of people who you can trust, who you respect, who you admire, some people that you could learn a thing or two from. I don't have just one mentor. I've tried to find people who, like I said, have that integrity, who have a strong character that I respect, that I know will challenge me. They'll be honest with me. And I've often told them that, not by making it weird, but just saying something like, "Hey, I'm working through some things and I could use your opinion. I'm wondering what you would think about this." Again, doesn't have to be weird. And if you don't know where to start or with who, that's okay. I know that can be a lot to figure out. But the best thing, just break it down. First ask yourself, okay, what am I currently working through? What is that next goal, or what am I stuck on or struggling with? Start there and identify that part of your life. And then second, look around and see, okay, who's accomplished this? Who's in a place that I'd like to be in one day? Or who is just someone that I respect? I could learn from their experiences. Again, it does not have to be the same person for every problem or goal that you want to face. And there's one more part that I would add here. You know, we naturally assume that mentors in our life should be someone who's older than us and wiser. And yeah, I'd say, yeah, that's a good thing to think. But sometimes that isn't always the case. I wouldn't make that the rule. And here's what I mean by that. So I have a friend, her name's Ezriel. She had all of her student debt paid off by 24. She's no debt by 24. That is rare. Trust me. People are super in debt. She has incredible knowledge about savings and investments. And even though she's younger than me, she's very wise in terms of making those financial decisions. So if you know someone like that, why not go to them and be like, hey, can I pick your brain? Just how do you set a budget? What are some do's and don'ts? What would you recommend? What did you do to get to the place that you are in now with no debt? I have another friend, Marielle. She's easily one of the best people I know ever. She just got hired by the United Nations for this incredible job. She works for the UN. It's insane. She has a ton of knowledge about the political world and social justice issues. She's younger than me, but she is also someone that I will go to. And I'll ask her and I'll be like, hey, help me understand this. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I value your opinion. I have two other people who are older than me that I go to for mentorship at work. I respect them, I trust them, I know they can challenge me, they're honest with me. I talk with one of my best friends on the phone weekly to pray together and just encourage each other and hold each other accountable. And guys, the choice, and it wasn't even my idea, it was her idea a couple years ago, but that choice to pray together weekly has been probably one of the biggest catalysts in my walk with God. It has made a huge difference. Yeah, you can pray by yourself, but when you gather with someone else and pray together and hold each other accountable, it's going to make a difference. And if I'm being honest, there are some weeks I don't really want to pray. I don't really want to talk. And then she's there to hold me accountable. And I'm there to do the same for her. So be willing, just widen your perspective. Look around to see, okay, who's on a path that I would like to be on? Who can you learn from? Who can you grow with? But here's the thing. It is up to you to reach out to them and initiate a conversation. No one's going to do this for you. It doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be some formal agreement. But just ask them for coffee. Be like, hey, I'd like your opinion on something. Or I'm having a hard time with this. Can you help me talk it through? Or hey, I want to challenge myself and grow in my faith. Do you want to do it together? And for a lot of us, this will mean letting go of our pride and our excuses and start looking beyond ourselves for a solution. At the end of the day, how you live your life, totally up to you. You are the only one responsible for it. But one of the bravest, one of the wisest things you can do is to invite people in, even if it's messy. Because the quality of your life, the quality of your faith, it will be directly impacted by the quality of your relationships. You need people in your corner, and you need to reach out to them, initiate that conversation. Who can you learn from? Who can you grow with? Whatever you do with this, just don't deny your need for God or people. That makes life very hard. Let me pray for you guys. God, we thank you that you made us to be together, that you made us with each other in mind, that living apart from you, living apart from each other is not how you want us to live, God. You know that we are stronger and wiser and more hopeful together, God. So I pray for each of us, if there's a part of our life that we're trying to fight on our own, that we're trying to address on our own, God, I pray that you would help us to take that step, to open our eyes to who we could reach out to, who we could partner with, and what that would look like, God. And I pray that as soon as we take that step, that you would rush in and meet us, that we would know that you are there, you are guiding us, and that there would be incredible stories of faith, of how you were working on our behalf. God, that you wanted so much good to come out of our relationships, that our relationships would be an example to those around us as we love each other, God. God, we need you in this. We can't and don't want to do it without you. We ask this in your name. Amen.
First and last, future and past. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. All the in between, every fear and dream. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. You're the breath of creation. You're here where I stand. And even when I've been unsure, you've always had a plan. First and last, future and past. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. All the in between, every fear and dream. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. First and last, future and past. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. All the in between, every fear and dream. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. Oh, you'll be there in the end. Oh. Alpha, Omega, beginning and end. You reign forever, your promise will stand. Alpha, Omega, beginning and end. You reign forever, your promise will stand. Alpha, Omega, beginning and end. You reign the center, you're coming again. You're holding the keys, and hell has no chance. Oh, glory and power forever. on the one true prize. You were there in the beginning, you'll be there in the end. So Father, I thank you for tonight, that we could come and just sing praises of worship to you. Lord, that you would just put the right people in our lives to mentor and guide us in step with you. That we would just continue to draw close to you. As life throws us curves, that you would just send the right people to speak life into the parts of our hearts that we just need it. So Father, I bless all the young adults that are here. Pray that you'd give them a good week and that you would just be with them as they go. We ask this in your name. Amen.